Fernando Guimaraes, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the NYPD, otherwise known as the New York City Police Department, and sometimes even called New York City's finest. The NYPD are tasked with one of the hardest jobs today. They're entrusted with the responsibility of maintaining law and order, preserving the peace, and making sure our streets stay clean. The NYPD have a very rich history, stemming all the way back to the 17th century, during the previously Dutch-owned New Amsterdam, starting out as just a small-town local police force to where they are today, as the nation's largest police force in the country, which is why I feel the need, along with the importance, in talking about them with you, as we rely on the NYPD and our police force in preserving law and order and maintaining justice in our society, especially with our crime rates rising in recent years, which is why I would like to share with you a startling statistic I found by the New York Post in an article titled NYC Shootings and Homicides Soared in 2020, which states how there's been a 97% increase in shootings from the years 2019 to 2020, with 777 shootings in 2019 all the way to 1,531 shootings in 2020. Along with that, there's also been a 42% increase in homicides from the years 2019 to 2020, with 319 homicides in the year 2019 to 462 homicides in the year 2020. The point that I'm trying to make to you by sharing with you that statistic is that with these drastic increases in crime, in shooting and homicide in only 1 year, we need to rely on our police force. And we need to entrust them with the responsibility with preserving the peace and punishing crime and maintaining justice in our society. The reason I feel the need to shine a spotlight on this and give this topic the attention that I feel like it deserves is because growing up throughout my entire life, my father has always been a police officer. I've always grown up with my dad as a cop. I have memories as a little kid where me and my little brother would, get tucked into sleep, and then we'd pretend to be asleep, and then we'd wait to hear our dad come home, and we'd hear the door open, and we'd go run down, and we'd go say hi to him, and we'd ask him how work is. And I've had so many times too as a little kid where I would wake up in the morning to go to school, and my dad wouldn't even be home, And I've even had memories too of, spending holidays like New Year's Eve without my dad home. So the point that I'm trying to make with you by sharing this story is that I want to shine this spotlight and I want to give this topic the attention it deserves, because I want to give the attention to this topic to almost commend all the police officers out there, not only my father, but other officers out there who have made sacrifices, not only for themselves, but sacrifices with their families as well, just for the betterment of our society and our city. Which is why I feel the need to talk about their history with you, to shine a spotlight on this topic. As I said before, in an article that I found by the U.S. Department of Justice, titled "History of New York Police Department," it goes further into this history. As I've said, it talks about how the New York City Police Department started out the previously Dutch-owned New Amsterdam just as a small-town police force, all the way to when the British rule came in 1664 to 1783. Constables were then assigned with the role of maintaining the peace, the same role that police officers still have to this day. And then following the Revolutionary War, the U.S. retained Great Britain's police model. And throughout the continued course of American history, this police model will continue to be refined and evolved. Further noted, in that same article titled "The History of the New York City Police Department" by the U.S. Department of Justice, it also states how throughout the Civil War, when crime was at a violent state, the presence of the police were once again called upon with the role of maintaining the peace. The department also experienced a period of modernization from 1900 to 1920, as well as after monumental events in American history, such as World War I, the Great Depression, World War II, and even the Civil Rights Movement. The police department and its presence were still called upon and were still present and were still relied on throughout American history. The focus in the 1970s was on rebuilding the police-community relations, and community policing was adopted in the early 1990s. And it's still a model that we're still working on to this day. Following these events, the relationship between the police department and the community has soured over the years, leading to a negative public relations today. In modern day, the relationship that the police department has with the public is not the best. Many cops feel almost a sense of pressure. They feel like they have almost like both hands tied behind their back, when it comes to doing their job. They feel like they're almost under this microscope from the public and the media when it comes to doing their job. And they feel like one wrong move, one slip up, and that's it, that they're done for. These negative public relations have led to a sense of pressure from possible scrutiny by the public, media, for simply doing their job. And along with this, as I previously said, crime rates are continuing to skyrocket in New York City. So police officers today are almost, in a sort of juggling act, where they feel like on one hand they're dealing with the presence and the public outlook on them, right, from the media and citizens around them, where just by doing their job, they can be perceived for doing the wrong thing. And on the other hand, they're dealing with the responsibility along with the stress of the crime rates continuing to rise. As I have previously said in that same article that I stated, titled, by the New York Post, titled NYC Shootings and Homicides Soared in 2020. It discusses how these shootings and these homicides have increased in only 1 year. As I said, there's been a 97% increase in shootings along with a 42% increase in homicides. The point that I'm trying to make is that as the police department has gone through its ups and its downs throughout history and has persevered and stayed strong throughout many monumental events in American history, it's almost sad to see how things have gone today, as their relationship has somewhat soured with the public. And they feel like they're almost under this pressure, but managing the public perception of them along with the drastic crime rate. I believe that nobody's perfect and that we all try to do the best we can, and I feel like that we need to give our police officers the attention along with the respect they deserve. So I just wanted to share with you their history and shine a spotlight on it to give the importance of our police department. Thank you.